Hello traders, this is Jim Comiskey coming to you live from ADM Investor Services. It is currently Thursday the 29th, coming up on 2 o'clock. Give you some color on the metals complex amongst other things. First of all, the opinions that I'm no doubt about to express are mine and mine alone and are not necessarily shared by ADMIS. Okay. First of all, the gold is currently at 16.5870, down $1.80. Very narrow range in the gold today. Silver is at 32.08, up just 19 cents. Crude oil, once again, your featured driver here, down 256 to 102.85. It appears as though France is dead serious about opening up their strategic reserves and flooding the market with crude oil. Not that it's going to do a whole lot for the price of unleaded gas at the pumps, but we'll talk about that a little later. The stocks. S&P down just 7, 1393.5. Dollar index up just 5. Euro down 34, 132.94. All in all, today can be characterized as thin and choppy. Okay. Okay. Let's give you support and resistance on the silver and gold, shall we? First of all, the pivot today, which again will come in as first resistance here in the gold, is at 1666. Above that, 1677.5. Second resistance. Okay. Third resistance comes in at 1696. Support in the gold comes in initially at 1646.47. Okay. By the way, that's today's low. Below that, 1637. Okay. Pivot in the silver is 32.12. With silver currently at 32.08. Okay. That's going to act as small resistance. First support comes in at 31.57. Below that, 31.20. Resistance comes in at 32.49, and above that, all the way to 33.04. All right, on to the ramps. There's just so much to talk about. Really, where do you start? Okay, first of all, Teddy said I'm supposed to go easy on Barack today. Ain't gonna happen. All right, the campaigner-in-chief today has announced that he wants to cut tax breaks to the oil companies. Okay, it's $4 billion a year now, ostensibly. Okay, this makes a great headline. Okay, tax breaks to the oil companies. All right, but let's put this into context. Okay, He goes on to say that the three biggest oil companies took home $80 billion in profit, okay? ExxonMobil collecting almost $4.7 million each hour. Now, let's put this into context. Yesterday, we talked about how much the U.S. government spends an hour. $430 million. He's talking about Exxon collecting $4.7 million an hour. $430 million an hour spent by the U.S. government. Okay, so Obama's ridiculing the Republican presidential candidates as the flat earth crowd. Would rather give $4 billion in taxpayer subsidies to oil companies than invest in clean energy. Don't get me going about Solyndra. Okay, we've been subsidizing oil companies for a century. That's long enough. Now, the Congressional Research Service on March the 3rd, okay, came out with a report that found that repealing the $22.8 billion in tax breaks over 5 years, okay, would cripple independent energy producers and on a smaller scale would make oil and natural gas more expensive for U.S. consumers and likely increase foreign dependence. Okay. Again, it makes for a good headline, but in terms of policy, it would probably stifle competition dramatically for the independents that go out and actually do a lot of exploration on their own dime too. By the way, so ending such breaks would reduce the deficit $41 billion over a decade, according to Obama's budget for fiscal 2013. That budget, by the way, which was brought up for a vote in the House today, and failed by a margin of 414 to 0. Not even one Democrat voted for Obama's 2013 budget. Okay, so much for the campaigner-in-chief. All right, now, by the way, okay, the tax breaks for the oil companies, the Jay Carney, White House press secretary, had no answer as to why Obama supported tax breaks for oil companies as a senator in 2005, but now opposes them as president. Okay? He supported tax breaks for the oil companies when he was a senator in 2005. I guess now he's had to change his mind when you have unleaded gas at all-time highs in the month of March, I might add. Okay? Moving on here. This is courtesy of Fox News. Okay, House panel clears way for administration subpoena on drilling and coal reg probes. Okay, a House committee voted Wednesday to clear the way to subpoena the Obama administration over two separate probes, one concerning allegations dating back to British petroleum spill that it misrepresented a report on the temporary offshore drilling ban. I remember this. I remember this quite distinctly. Okay. A panel of experts said that it had recommended that drilling in the Gulf resume 6 months after the oil spill. However, the final report that was issued by Interior Secretary Ken Salazar to President Obama called for a 6-month moratorium to be extended, and it was edited to suggest that the panel's experts supported that recommendation. I remember because the panelists actually did an op-ed in the Journal, and they were furious that their words had totally been twisted and used against them. All right, so Ken Salazar, you know, guy that's never created a job in his life, yet killed many. All right, here's the timeline now for Ken Salazar's work in the Gulf. Okay, March 31st of 2010, he announced an offshore drilling ban that closed large portions of our offshore areas from future energy production. May 6th of 2010, issued a moratorium on all new drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, creating further economic devastation, costing up to 12,000 jobs, according to the administration's estimates. Okay, I wonder how many waitresses and waiters in restaurants and diners along the Gulf were included in this 12,000 job total. Got to wonder. May 17th, Bureau of Land Management finalized rules, first announced by Secretary Salazar on Jan 6, 2010, to establish more government hurdles to onshore oil and natty gas production on federal lands. May 28th, officially lifted the moratorium on shallow water drilling and continued to slow walk the issuing of permits, creating a de facto moratorium. Okay, I mean, where do you stop here? In November 18th, 2010, an Interior Department presentation showed that they plan to postpone new lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico till 2010. December 1st, effectively reinstated the ban on offshore drilling, placing the entire Pacific coast, Atlantic coast, and Eastern Gulf and parts of Alaska off limits to future energy production until 2017 at the earliest. All right, so Ken Salazar's track record with regards to stifling energy production in this nation is just absolutely incredible. This is our Interior Secretary.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Send me an email. Thanks, Michael.
It is what it is. I could go on and on. What are we looking with time here? Okay. There's a lot we could talk about here. A lot more we could talk about, but I know that I'm getting a little long-winded. Okay, big shout-out. Big shout-out to my mate down under here, Greg Thiel. Greg, if I mispronounced your last name, could be Greg Thiel, probably Thiel. But I want to thank you very much for sending me a link to Armstrong Economics. It's a tremendous site. And yes, I have been following Armstrong for a while. But I came across this, the anatomy of a debt crisis that appears only Julius Caesar ever understood. Okay, now, I don't know, I've lost track of time here, and Teddy's been a little busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another 10-minute one after this. Okay, but I'm going to wrap this one up so that I can easily upload to YouTube. This is an absolutely brilliant analysis to a housing crisis that occurred in 53 BC. Okay, remarkably similar to a housing crisis we're going through right now, a debt crisis. This is good. You guys are going to want to tune into the next one, okay? But again, for ease of uploading, I'm going to just kill this one right here. If you'd like to get a hold of me, I think at this point you know how to, but my toll-free is 888-935-7979. Outside line 312-242-7996. Email me at jim.comiskey@archerfinancials.com, or shoot me a comment on the comment chain on YouTube here, and I'll make every effort to respond, okay? Take care, guys. Look forward to talking to you soon.